So number one cause are viral. Number two, bacteria. Number two is bacteria. Okay, so which bacteria? It's gonna be the beta hemolytic streptococcus, group A. Beta hemolysis streptococcus in group A, which is actually the cause of acute rheumatic fever. Acute rheumatic fever causes myocarditis. Okay, now we're gonna get into candida vaginitis. So now we're gonna talk about the different types of vaginitis infections. Okay, candida vaginitis. So this is the Candida albicans is the second most common cause of vaginitis. This is Candida albicans is the fungi. It's a fungi, and it's the second most common cause of vaginitis. Candida albicans is the second most common cause of vaginitis. So how does it happen? Candida albicans grows because of risk factors. There are risk factors that allow the overgrowth of Candida albicans. What are these risk factors? Pregnancy, immunodeficiency. Immunodeficiency can be secondary to diabetes or HIV, or it could be due to medications. Okay, and antibiotic treatments. So you would suspect Candida after some type of one of these risk factors being present. A patient must be immunosuppressed for whatever reason, must be pregnant, or must have had a recent antimicrobial treatment. Okay. Clinical findings that are unique to Candida albicans are a white, sticky, vaginal discharge described like cottage cheese. In the physical exam, it shows erythematous, vulva, and vagina, which means that they're red and swollen or inflamed. They can have a vaginal burning sensation. They can have dysuria. Also, they can have strong pruritus, which is itching. But the vaginal burning sensation and dysuria and dyspareunia, these are non-specific symptoms, meaning that these other three symptoms, they can be seen with other vaginitis infections. The ones I highlighted are unique to Candida vaginitis. Okay. You do a wet mount study with potassium hydroxide, and it will show you the morphology of the Candida albicans, which is that it's a pseudohyphae. Now, the next part is very important to distinguish between the different types of vaginitis causes, which is that the vaginal pH is within normal range between 4 to 4.5, which, as you can see, it's slightly acidic. Yeah, no. Okay. Okay. So let's discuss the normal biology. Okay. So in premenopausal women, the vaginal non-keratinized stratified squamous epithelium contains a large amount of glycogen. Remember, glycogen is the storage form of glucose. Okay. Lactobacilli, which is a bacteria that makes up part of the normal vaginal flora, uses glycogen from the sloughed cells to produce lactic acid and thereby creating an acidic vaginal environment. This, therefore, prevents the overgrowth of pathogenic organisms. So, thanks to the lactobacilli, the vaginal flora is acidic and thereby preventing growth of pathogenic organisms. So anything that disrupts this acidic environment can result in vaginitis. This is the underlying pathophysiology of vaginitis. What kind of things can disrupt this acidic environment? Menstruation, sexual activity, pregnancy, foreign bodies, antibiotics, hygiene products, could be a lot. Right here. You good, Sarah? If you need more time, let me know. Good? Okay.